Hello everybody, today we are going to talk about data structures. Structure defines how we build something. It defines what something is constructed of, right? So a data structure is a group of data elements that are somehow connected with each other. Everything, well, every object is built of some elements, and data structures let us define that elements. Structure let us create a new type consisted of other types, so it let us organize our code a bit. So how to create a structure? We should type a word, structure, well, struct, and then we should name our structure. For example, we'll name our structure personal data, so it means that it will be structure that will be consisted of elements that are connected with personal data, right? At the end here I will add the semicolon. And here, inside that structure, I can now define variables. I can now declare them. So, something that is defining the personal data. We're going to create attributes here, right? So, for example, string name, string surname. What else do we need? Well, for example, string telephone number, and for example, short age, right? Something like that. So now we have a structure, personal data. It is new type. This our type that we've just defined. Before, normally, that thing was written that way, so we were type definition, we're defining our own type. Now in the C++, we don't need to add that word here, and we can use that type. How to use it? For example, we can create a variable that type is our personal data, and I will call that variable person, right? Like that. And now I can use that person. How to use it? We should just use that variable that we just created and then use the dot sign. So this is the operator that let us go inside variables that are inside the structure, right? And now I can change something. For example, name to, for example, my name, surname to, for example, my surname, and telephone number to not my number, and person age to 22, for example. So now we have just learned how to assign values inside the variable. The type is our type, where is the structure. And now we need to learn how to send things like that to the output. So we can do it, for example, like that. Name, surname, telephone number. Let's just copy that things here and build and run our program. As you can see, everything is working fine. So now we can store a few variables that are connected to each other in one variable, right? In one variable here, because we've just created a new type. And it's very good because look, now it's organized a bit. Now we know that they are connected to each other. Okay, this variable here is working like all other variables, so it means that I can create arrays of people, right? So I can now create person, and now I want 5 of them. Now I should also do something like that. So I am now changing the value of first person, right? We can now if I did it that way, for example, here, that first guy here, the 0, didn't have any value, but that one have value because we just assigned here or something. Okay. And now I like to tell you about the pointers, something special about pointers when we talk about structures. Well, now I'd like to tell you that the name of array is a pointer, right? Well, like always. So we can use the person pointer also that way. I want to get the value here that is under that address, so it's like the same like here, then that and name. I want you to know all the way you can get to the value there, because some people might go into that place a bit different way, so we'll know then. So now, as you can see, I also got to the name here. Let's assign a name to the second person, so for example here, like for example that name, and now I will try to get to that place. I can get there, for example, that way. As you can see, everything works fine. So this is one of the version. The next version is, for example, that way, right? Because this is a pointer, really. So there is an address stored of first element. So now everything will work also fine. And now something very new. And this is very cool operator. We can get there by using something like that. That arrow here. So it means that this pointer is pointing to that thing here, right? And as you can see, everything works fine. If I want to get to the next element, I would do just something like that, and I will get on the output the right version. Also, you should know that you can create the variables of type personal data here. So I can do something like that, for example, here. And then, as you can see, now I can get the age and I can send it to the output, for example, like that. Let's see if it's working. It works fine. So you can create here, it's like a fast declaration of variables in the same time. We can, of course, create, for example, personal data pointer. So, for example, like that, and it can point to the first address of here. And then I can send to the output easily just that way. So let's comment that things here, because we won't notice which thing is which. And now, as you can see, everything works fine, right? We can also assign here it that way easily. Everything works fine. So this thing is really cool, because when you create, for example, testing function, and it will take here that personal data. So personal data, and for example, I will call it person here also. I can send here, for example, address, right? So I can send to test P, or I could send here test person, for example, like that. because that are addresses really, right? And now I can do something here, for example person, and I can change name to, for example, Agnes. And now let's see if it really happened here. Whoops, I should also add here in declaration, sorry. And now, as you can see, the name has changed here, right? And everything works fine. And notice one thing, we are sending here only address of a structure, only one address, right? And it's really cool because we don't need to send here each element, 1, 2, 3, 4 variables, but I need to send only one guy. It's faster to write something like that, and it's faster also for computer to send just an address, and then by using that address we can get to the values. Okay, that's all in the lesson. Thank you very much.